So, hello everyone. My name is Pascal. I come from the University of Western Australia. Currently is PhD here. So today we are talking about one of the work we've done recently about the Docs2KG, which is kind of the interesting topic, looks like. So we are trying to unify the knowledge graph construction from the homogeneous documents assisted by the large language model. And today my talk will be divided probably into mainly three sections. First, I will talk about the problem and opportunity. Then is how we do it in the stage 1 and the stage 2. And then last, probably we'll have a QA. So first is a problem. I think everyone was kind of aware about the problem because that's where the exciting part. That's why the knowledge graph attracting so much attention in the past 1 year. So the large language model comes, it can do a lot of magical things, but it have some problems. The main problem is it cannot integrate with external knowledge. And if we wanted to get the external knowledge, give it to the large language model, we needed to do the RAG. And to feed the external knowledge, which for most enterprise and the companies, the knowledge actually rests in the unstructured documents, especially PDFs, all the documentations. And then the main problem becomes, how can we transform these unstructured documents into a good format and feed it into the large language model? So the knowledge graph concept before these 2 years is pretty a core one. We know that it is something behind the Google search engine, but it's not that popular. My friends don't really even know that when I was talking with them. But this year is kind of the knowledge graph go to the central stage because of this. So the problem is pretty clear. It's like large language model cannot easily access the unstructured data. Then opportunity is how can we get it being structured, get the information being less chaos and accessible by the large language models. There is a lot of attempts trying to do that, like what today's previous talk about. We're trying to use the large language model, feed it into the PDFs and read them and construct the knowledge graph from that. And if we can do that very good, then it's a very, very big opportunity for everyone. So what's the core challenge we want to address? So when we go into trying to solve the problem, we find out, okay, we have actually 2 core challenges. First is we need to process unstructured data into the structured format. How we do that? So we need to first understand what the unstructured data format is. The first, most common one is PDFs. And then some of them will probably have the Excels and web pages. And you probably don't really notice that, but emails are one of the very big chunks of the unstructured data, and it holds so much information. And then is how can we construct the knowledge graph from the unstructured data? It looks like the simplest way is we trying to feed it, give it to the large language model and expect it to do it for you magically. But will it be that good? It's actually not that good. So we will tackle our first problem first, is how we handle the unstructured data during the pre-process. So we're starting from the HTML. Actually, HTML is the easiest one because the Google search engine building on top of the Google knowledge graph, and it is from the data format, which is HTML. This is a format the machine can understand. That's the foundation for the search engine. And what we are currently building now with the graph is actually a private search engine. So why we not get everything fit into this standard? That's basically the idea we're starting from. So HTML will have the title, you have the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, they have the layout. And then when we come to the PDF documents have 2 types. One type is digital generated, another type is scanned PDFs. So digital generated is easy because you can use the machine easily convert it into the texts. But for the scanned PDF, it's hard because scanned PDF, you probably need some OCR technologies, get out the layout and get out the OCR be recognized. And also the tables, the formula, the figures, you need to understand them, at least in the text format or other embedding formats. So that's the hard part. And for the emails actually have 2 different formats. One format is you have the plain text, another is you have the HTML. But no matter which way, email have another extra layers of the information is the meta information of the email. You have the senders, you have the topic. That's the information you can use. And another is Excel, the spreadsheet things. So you're probably seeing a spreadsheet is structured information, but yes, it is to some extent. But when you think it from another perspective, you see a lot of complex report was generated by the governments or different companies. They have a lot of sheets, and each sheets probably have different titles, names, and how you kind of will describe it. You find out it's coming from the structure into the unstructured end. It's even more complex than the PDF. So it's actually created challenges. So how we do that? We need to define our goal first. Our first goal is like we wanted to process in this diverse data format through a unified pipeline. This will means you will need to have a unified output format. And we think for the idea from the HTML and how the PDF documents was being generated, we think we probably can use a Markdown because Markdown have you to use a text like the images, the heading 1, heading 2, heading 3. So in this way, you basically can have a very good layout information of your documentations, and the figures and the tables can be output separately because that's probably the main information from your documents. Figures and tables, they are different things you need to process differently. So, okay, then if we define this, then we kind of have a goal for our first problem is we have a unified output format. And the second problem is we need to have a unified pipeline resistant to diverse data format. So the key challenges in our problem is we have two different types of the documents. One is a scanned document, and another is like a digital generated. And Excel, we first was thinking we can use the digital text ways to do that, but eventually we think get it into an image and use a scan ways to OCR way to handle it to find it much better. So in this way, we kind of design a dual processing path. One path is if it's digital, accessible content, we use it via the Markdown way. And if it's a scan, then we use the image way. So which lead to our whole pipeline design of the Docs2KG. So you have a multiple diverse input. You go in, fit into this dual path data pre-processing. And if you treat it as the image, then you go into the image converter and use the documentation layout analyze, and then use the OCR. You output it as a text. And if it's a table, you can put it as a table image, or it's a CSV, depends on the technology you are using. And if it's like a digital readable, then you can use a Markdown converter. You convert it into the Markdown format and then pass it into same this way. So your output will be the text and the tables and the figures. So with this way, you basically have a standardized output. So in the output, you have two main informations. The first information is about the layout information. So in this way, you basically can construct a layout knowledge graph already. That's kind of the second stage. We want to build a knowledge graph. So the first part of the knowledge graph we want to build is a layout. The layout is you have the highest level of the document. And if it's a heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, you will put them correspondingly. And if it's a table, and the table have the position of the whole documents, then it will high potentially relevant to the nearby chunks of the text. Then when you're doing the retrieval next, you probably should also retrieve their nearby informations. So the layout order also very important. So we follow this pattern. We will first generate the text layout, and then we feed the tables into the layout knowledge graph, and then we feed the image into the layout knowledge graph. So we have one aspect of this knowledge graph. So this is from the pre-processing stage. And then is a key question we need to solve, how we construct a semantic knowledge graph. So you can see we can put it into a Docs2KG process. So that's kind of needed into our stage 2 thing is knowledge graph construction. So for the key problem in the knowledge graph construction, I think a lot of people talking about how we do that before. I probably want to touch that also, but for me, it's we have actually two key questions we need to answer here. The first question is where we started. For most of the domains, actually, we don't have established the ontology. If we have ontology, we can do it quite good. because that's what the authority was built for. Then where we should start it? What's the best way to start with? And the second question is where to stop. There is no like a very
Hi,
clear matrix
Pascal.
here. Sorry?
Sorry to interrupt you in between. I think audience cannot see your slides. They're seeing the Coldcast backstage link.
Oh, okay, sorry. Maybe try it again. Window, entire screen. Okay, can we see it now?
Yes, it is working fine now. Can you just switch it to the full screen mode if you want to?
Okay, no, it's fine. So the starting point is without the established authority, where should we begin? And then is where should we stop? So I think that's the experiment result we get. So I think when you're trying to construct a semantic knowledge graph, you should come is, do you have an ontology? If yes, then you can fit the ontology together with the prompt to build one. There are several papers and we already evaluated that. That's pretty good. And then if you don't have the ontology, how should you do? Then you need to ask yourself in your company, do you have an entity list? And you normally should do, because that should be within your relational database. That's your relational database schema, or the unique values in your relational database, or your discussions daily. So you should normally have that. We define that as entity of the interest for your company, and then you can use them to extract the entity from your documents and link them together. This was being proven will be the most efficient ways for the company to start with. And if not, you don't have both, then you had to start with the bottom-up knowledge graph construction strategy like the library was providing in the Neo4j. But to remember, you need to review the entity types, the ontologies gradually. So in this way, you can have the human in the loop to improve your ontology. Then you need to a high-quality knowledge graph, which will need you better downstream task evaluation. And for the evaluation, it's like where we stopped. Like for now, the challenging is you don't really have established the metrics for the KG complex. You actually can link any two nodes together if you want. So we have tried the only way you can do is measure through the downstream applications. We kind of try the way we mentioned above in the geology domains. So we use two ways to do evaluation. One is doing the query capability, which is trying to see if I have a question in this domain, how many success rate for that. And then we use integrated with the graph, is integrated one hop graph search and check the result quality compared with the before one. It's kind of pretty good. So we deliver this Docs2KG package as a Python package. And currently we using the input is the files. You need to import the libraries and export it as a JSON. Can be importable to the Neo4j. Promoting is with OpenAI. And currently we are working in progress is we're trying to get it supported for the command line. And also we wanted to enhance the Neo4j supported like a format. And also we kind of integrated with public available large language models to do the entity extraction process. So we will release a new version soon. But anyway, that's most of it. I think probably people missing the previous my slides. I probably can, I think you can scan this one. I probably will publish my slides somewhere so you can access my previous slides if you are interested. I think that's all for me.